Welcome to the Liberating Beauty Podcast. I'm Rebecca, your host, and together we'll explore the spirit of beauty, how beauty invites new possibilities, enlivens us to inhabit our innate creativity, and connects us more deeply with ourselves and with each other. We'll have conversations and share reflections that invite you into a frequency of gentleness, truth, and mystery. I'm so glad you're here. If you find the Liberating Beauty Podcast meaningful, please consider supporting our work. To donate, follow the link in the show notes to the Together in Beauty website, home to this podcast, along with other offerings to accompany you on your journey of spiritual becoming. Please subscribe, rate, and share this podcast wherever you listen. And as always, thank you for your support and for being here with us. Welcome back, everyone, to the Liberating Beauty Podcast. I'm really delighted to have you here with me today. So we've just wrapped up our final episode of the Creativity mini-series. So for those of you who haven't listened to it yet, I would welcome you to go back to even the earliest episodes around This Too Is Love, where I talk about the relationship between creativity and beauty, and then also give some of my thoughts about what it feels like to me to come into contact with the essence of creativity. I talk about that in a different episode called The Feeling of Creativity. And then I've had these beautiful guests the last couple of weeks, so I just wanted to take just a few minutes really to reflect and integrate some of the learnings that came up. Were just so beautiful and instructive. I've been thinking about them so much as I'm walking, or even more actually, I'm noticing that in moments where that creative essence feels stuck because I'm feeling, whether it's a moment of panic or fear, I can go back to some of the conversations and say, what allows for a little bit more openness, a little bit more spaciousness to allow the flow of that creative life force to come through. And so thinking back to the first guest I had on was Gail Jacob, and I just love the idea that what we understand as creativity, what we experience as beautiful, is a story that we are writing every single moment of our lives, whether we are consciously aware of it or not, and that it is revealing to us in moments what we find is beautiful. Just the idea that incubation is taking place as its own creative life force, its own creation, moving and showing us what are different directions that our life holds, what are different ways that it could look in a certain light when there is that allowing. And certainly that theme of allowing clearly came up in all of the episodes. It certainly came up in the next one that I did. This was, this is an interesting one. It was a guest. It was my dad who'd passed away, and receiving this message from him, I believe, be one of his essays, The Prophet's Messenger. And at any time we're open to receiving messages from different realms, different times, it's that allowing, it's that same opening that we touched on in Gail's episode too. Where does creativity reside? And maybe even, is there a desire for that creative impulse even after someone has died? How do we stay in conversation with that creative life force and pull? And it's only through that opening that I believe that conversation and exchange of energy, of idea, of love can happen. You can say, I intend to be open. And in many times in my life, I've said, I'm gonna be open. If I'm just open, then something mystical will happen, and then nothing happens, and frustrated. So I'm still I'm still experimenting with what openness looks and feels like in practice in a way that's not forced. And I have a sense that it's something about openness without expectation or attachment to what comes through. That really came up a lot in talking with Ryan in the episode we did about the art of presence and the creative ideas that show themselves when we are so in tune in this moment that whatever comes through, it's almost inevitable. As soon as we've put our attention on what is ours, I imagine that mystery just delighting in being able to reveal itself and seeing what would happen. I set out to do this mini-series, and when that impulse came that I talked about in This Too Is Love, that these different frequencies, these different expressions like creativity, beauty, pleasure, grief, that all were these different manifestations of divine love. With creativity, I think I was thinking more about the form than the essence at the time that the idea came to me. I was thinking about some of the forms that I really enjoy in terms of expressing my creativity, like poetry. But it more kind of deepened into the theme through these conversations of my own reflection. It is so much about the feeling and literally what is happening in this moment when we don't require a form to show itself. It's like we're not going out to create a form. Very, very often we do end up creating forms. In my case, poetry. You may end up, creating a painting, but it's about the process of coming into that openness and to that divinity that is ours, that in that expression of the divinity that's ours, that I was really tapping into through these conversations. Now, no doubt, what it is that we create from that creative life force isn't separate from the feeling itself. So it's a false dichotomy to say that creativity is either the form or it's the essence. It's both. But what I am getting excited about is what forms might emerge, ones that I wouldn't have even known were mine or available as I continue to open to that creative life force moving through me. So I'd really love to hear what has come through all of you as you're taking in these conversations. They've been so beautiful. This creativity mini-series, more than any of the other episodes, many of you have been reaching out and emailing and talking about ways that you are connecting with creativity in your own lives. So I'm sharing that because I think there's a lot here, something at the nexus of creativity, beauty, spirituality, presence. And I would really be keen to hear about what you want to continue to bring into the conversation, whether in the comments for this episode or any of the previous ones. Please do feel free to reach out and share, and we can continue this conversation in future episodes. As much as I'm getting excited about learning my way into new expressions of creativity right now, one of those expressions that is available to me is poetry. And so I wanted to read this poem in particular because it's one of the first poems that I'd ever written. And it was really striking to me that at that time, poetry wasn't something I reached to say, oh, I have something in me that just longs to be known and let me write a poem. Like that wasn't something I knew to look for. So yeah, I'm excited to share this poem with you as one of the ways that my creativity expresses today. Also as an offering to, the poem is really an offering to the goodness, to the well-being that is available to all of us, that calls to all of us, and that wishes the best for all of us. So I share this poem in celebration of all of us. This poem is called Wellbeing Is Wanting to Be Remembered. Part 1 starts with an elder speaking to a child. The elder says, wake up, wake up. It was just a dream. Oh, dry those tears. Look around. We're here. The trees, the river, the wolves, our kin. Child, but there was this place where we were not we at all. We were split apart. Separate shells, separate skins, separate houses. Elder, oh my, what a nightmare to feel cut off from our sacred body. There, we are here. Part 2, Forgotten. Forgotten as the day is long, how we grow together, entwined in dirt and spit, love like water, walking hand in glove, the sensuous simplicity of our forgotten mystery, all that we conspire together. Oh, sweet dog, sleeping next to me. There was a time not long ago when I barked and moaned like you. We have forgotten how good it feels to moan. Part 3, Houses. There's something about these houses, little universes unto themselves. These places we build so pridefully. Look at me, special, special me, in my house with all of my things, every creature comfort, a private sanctuary, a glorious place to die alone. Part 4, Something happens. And then something happens. It could be watching the majesty of death unfolding before our eyes. It could be the medicine of remembrance burning off our stories and our shame. Could be despair or exhalation, pleasure, rematriation, or a voice from deep inside your belly that whispers, come home. Part 5, Fighting it. What do you mean, come home? You just told me that home is the box I built to die. Why would I come home? Because death, dear one, is only as finite as our desire to love her and to hold her as part of us, to see her not as an ending, but as a dancer in the sacred alchemy of our becoming, a reminder that the lines we draw around this and that and you and me, dogs barking, children shouting to be seen, house after house, manicured garden just waiting for a bird to shit on your newly polished SUV. We drew these lines to forget just how close we are. So go on, pout and scream, get it out. This is hard. Hard to remember that we helped lay the bricks of our captivity, or at least forgot that bricks can break. Part 6, From the Rubble. The ecstasy of the sledgehammer makes the line between pleasure and pain even more opaque. It is the ending of disillusion, rife with warm confusion. There is, of course, profusion, now that love is free. And from the rubble, that voice which called to you speaks again. Come home to us. Come home. This time, your house freshly broken, your eyes wide open, you walk to her stripped bare. Part 7, Remembering. The amazing thing is that as soon as you embrace, all is made clear. As the rubble turns to golden light, bodies collide and reunite, and you forget that you forgot to remember. And from the remembrance rises a light so bright, a pulse so strong, a love so alluring that everything that you called you and your home and your dog and your mind is shattered into the unbearable lightness of being. This which cannot and this which will never be broken. Part 8. Well-being is wanting to be remembered. Let me not be overly academic, but to say, well-being is simply dissolving any lingering illusion that we are anything but one. So when I say that well-being is wanting to be remembered, what I mean is purely that the sanctity of unity is baked into the bricks that form our homes, baked into the fibers of our bones, baked into the seedlings waiting to invade our hearts. Well-being is who we are. So whenever the echo stirs our soul's direction back to divine interconnection, the lights will turn on again, never to remember that we forgot to glow. Thank you for being here with me, and be well. Thank you for listening to the Liberating Beauty Podcast. To learn more about the podcast, my work, and how I can support you on your journey of spiritual becoming, head over to the Together in Beauty website or email me at rebecca@together-in-beauty.com. It's an honor to accompany you on the journey. A huge thank you to our multi-talented producer and co-creative director, Mapumba Cilombo. To learn more about Mapumba's work as a producer, sound engineer, and musician, check out the show notes for a link to his website at mapumbamusic.com. And as always, many thanks to you, our listeners. None of this would be possible without the energy, encouragement, and vitality that you reflect back to us each week. Until next time, may you walk in beauty.